In April of 2018, Avengers Infinity War was released, taking both the world and the box office by storm. It was the culmination of years of hard work by the folks over at Marvel Studios, and it definitely paid off. The Infinity Saga wasn't just a beautiful send-off to all the beloved characters we've come to treasure over the course of the past decade, but specifically, it elevated one of Marvel's most notorious comic book villains to overwhelmingly great heights. Thanos was everywhere. Heck, even your mom probably knows who he is. But when looking at how these two films affected the comic book industry, it didn't really affect it all that much. We got some blatantly cash-grabby events that kind of sucked, but I guess it did boost sales for one of Marvel's most treasured comics. The very graphic novel that inspired the Infinity Saga of the MCU that we all hold near and dear to our hearts. Infinity Gauntlet, released from July to December of 1991, is one of the most iconic comics ever made. Written by Jim Starlin with art by George Perez and Ron Lim, this 6-issue miniseries sees Thanos snap half of the entire population of the universe into thin air. He does this to please Death herself, who he has a huge crush on. And I honestly don't think it is aged that well. There aren't a lot of epic character moments, not enough creativity in terms of the concept and execution, and it has a lot of unnecessary dialogue that, to me, doesn't really need to be there in the first place. I guess I was just so underwhelmed because this is hyped as one of the greatest stories comics has to offer. Maybe I didn't like it because I just don't like excessive dialogue. I'm also a guy who just isn't into event comics in general, so I'm pretty biased when it comes to my take on this comic. But I think the biggest factor to me not enjoying Infinity Gauntlet was that when I was reading it, I was thinking about another Thanos comic entirely, questioning why this is the definitive depiction of the Mad Titan when I read something that I feel is infinitely better and not praised enough. The comic I'm gonna talk about today isn't just one of the most memorable reads I've had this year, but is one of the most exciting, captivating, and genuinely fun experiences I've had in my entire history of being a comic fan. How can I go back? How can I go back and read any other Thanos comic when I know that nothing will ever come close to topping? Written by Jeff Lemire with art by Mike Deodato and German Peralta, the first 12 issues of Thanos 2016 to 2018 are an absolute blast. The first issue opens with Corvus Glaive, master of the Black Order, ruler of the Black Quadrant, finally taking his place as ruler after being under the Purple Tyrant for so long. As the book narrates, he had finally become the king he always knew he was born to be. And then, we see giant purple boots crack the planet's crust, and then a 2-page spread that boldly says, Thanos returns. The Mad Titan is assaulted by soldiers and blasts all of them to dust without any effort whatsoever. He throws one of the soldiers' bodies at another, and you can see through the expressive art by Mike Deodato with colors by Frank Martin the sheer magnitude and power that Thanos holds. In a page without words, a tank goes after him, and he crushes it with ease. He steps on the ground once more, and destroys everything within his sight. He proceeds to let Corvus Glaive kill himself, as he reclaims the throne that once was his. This whole sequence, which is just the very start of the series, already feels so grand and weighty. It isn't even close to half the universe being wiped out, and yet, through sheer creativity and presentation, it feels so epic and memorable. But the first 12 issues of the comic aren't just about Thanos and his pursuit of power, it's also about this group of characters. I think you'll immediately notice who's at the center, Nebula, the granddaughter of Thanos, a skilled thief who just evaded an exploding spaceship right before this scene. On the right is Eros, who used to be an Avenger called Star Fox, and he is actually the brother of Thanos. He is a sly smooth talker, and he gets laid a lot, because of course he does. In the center of the picture, behind Nebula, is Thane, the son of Thanos. In this comic, he's convinced by the seductive Death to kill Thanos, his cruel father. Moving on, the guy on the left is Trico Slatterus, who has no relation to Thanos at all, but is here because he and Thane were prisoners. He's also known as the champion of the universe, and his most famous quote, according to the Marvel database, is, "After you lose, you shall become one of my wives and bear me many strong sons, so that someday I may actually have fitting contenders for my title." How he and Thane bonded in the comic is actually pretty funny and oddly wholesome. A flashback shows that they became friends because Trico shared his chocolate bar with Thane, and they became such good pals that the guards had to take Thane away from the cell because they were just having such a good time there. Anyway, kidding aside, these are some really powerful people, because a lot of them know Thanos as relatives, meaning that they know the guy like no other person would. They actually have a good chance to finally put him to rest. But there's more. The reason why they have the confidence and the bravado to pull this off is because Thanos is dying. The Mad Titan, one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, is dying. His cells are rapidly degenerating due to something his father describes as God cancer. This is the main plot of the first 12 issues, a battle between two bad parties. And it's really interesting because you really don't know who would win. This team is a much lesser evil, but still evil nonetheless. Even though their plan to kill Thanos is going to benefit the universe as a whole, they're motivated by very selfish reasons. There's so much back and forth between the two parties. At one moment, Thanos can be pinned down and imprisoned by the galaxy's greatest squad, and at another, he can emerge victorious even when falling into a pit at the edge of the universe. You really don't know what's going to happen. Characters switch sides, betray each other, and do insanely stupid things. It's a great comic, and I think what's so cool about it is the creative freedom given to Jeff Lemire. We get to see multiple planets and alien races, and he was able to play with the characters in the story to a huge degree. It's not the most deep or profound comic in the world, but man oh man, is it an absolute blast to read. The action is tremendously well done, and it's engaging throughout, fast-paced and never skipping a beat. Well, the next and final arc of the series is everything that's great about the first 12 issues, but dial it up to 100. Donny Cates, Jeff Shaw, and Antonio Fabella take the helm, and it is one of the best things ever. The third arc, still lettered by Clayton Coles, is titled Thanos Wins. The Phoenix burns, Galactus devours, the Watchers witness, the Celestials judge, Thanos lives, Thanos denies, Thanos wins. The book opens with Thanos obliterating Chitauri Prime and sitting on the king's throne, but as he lies there in vanity and boredom, it rains red. For the first time in a while, Thanos smiles. ready to meet this fearsome foe. And it is a cosmic Ghost Rider on a high-tech flying motorcycle, guns blazing. The odd thing is that Thanos doesn't win, at least not this battle. This Ghost Rider apprehends him with chains forged from the bones of Cytorak and tells him that he is from the future. He's supposed to bring Thanos to the final king. As they visit a future millions of years from the current time the book takes place in, we realize that it's a world completely barren and devoid of life. Only a few people seem to be left. Cosmic Ghost Rider and his master, the final king, who in reality it's Thanos with a beard from the future. Do you know what this means though? It means Thanos wins. Future Thanos won. He finally did. Took over the entire universe. But now he's asking for help, begging on his knees for his past self to help him. Of course, current Thanos does not like this. He throws him around, angry at how miserable and pitiful his future self becomes. And then, future Thanos shows him his astounding power and tells him what he needs help for. I lost someone. I need you to help me get them back. Who? Who do you think? The story of Thanos comes full circle, and it only gets better from here. I have never seen a Marvel comic go this hard. It's a pure shot of adrenaline to the veins. It's just epic reveal after reveal, magnificent blow after blow, and it does not stop for even a second. This story arc is pure spectacle, and I absolutely adore it. I've not even touched on a lot of the cool things that happen in this story, and that's because I encourage you to check it out for yourself. What happens is unbelievable, wild, and it'll make you feel like a kid playing with action figures again in the best way possible. Thanos 2016 to 2018 is a really cool run to me because it highlights the reason why I read comic books. Not to learn or impress others, but simply to enjoy and have fun. And in a world that lacks fun, it's something that I really treasure. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks a lot for, taking time out of your day to check this out. It is much appreciated. If you want to, you can like, subscribe, and share, and stuff. And I hope you have a good day. Also, if you're bored and stuff, hopefully you could check out my 2 most recent videos, aside from this one, of course, because I think they're pretty good. But anyway, my name is Joshua C, and I will see you in the next comic book video. Bye.